Okay. I am back. Okay. So, again, let me go in here and get some stuff set up. All right. So, I'm only really feeling it for like 30 minutes tonight. If in me doing this, I kind of get myself to feel better, I might play some games. I'm kind of debating in my head between if I do this between Jedi Fallen Order and Terraria, but I'm not sure which one right now. So, okay, let's go. I want to see this. I've had this page open like almost all day. Just haven't watched it. I'm like, I want to look at it on stream. So let's go. Okay. I don't know if you all have seen other Junji Ito stuff, but like his stuff is always terrible. So when she's saying like he melted, like I already know like it's not gonna be like, oh no, Wicked Witch of the West, oh I'm melting. It's gonna be something terrible, and like it's gonna make you feel bad to watch it. Cause I know he had one called Geo or something like that, where it's like some virus coming around that was like making people like swell up, and then like constantly like put out this gas, this horrible smell out of them, and then like eventually it was like the like the like corpses of like these fish or whatever different type of animal that would live in the sea would like mutate and like grow legs, and then they would like connect to the person. They would like find the people with the smell, connect to them, and then like turn them into like these almost like machines constantly putting out the virus and the smell. It was really dark and it made me feel terrible. That, and then they had another one where it's like there was like this wall, and they all each wall like you would go through and you look and be like, oh, what's these like human shaped holes in the walls? It's weird. But eventually you'd find one that was like perfect for you. It would like match you. And if you found that, it would like draw you to it. And so eventually you go in it and you'd stand in it like, oh, I'm gonna get in it. And you start sliding in, and it's like you couldn't get back out because now like your hands and everything are all stretched out. So it's like, oh God, I can't go back. I can't go back. And so you just kind of slowly keep falling into this thing. And it's like as you go along, the like forms of it stretch and like change such that like your arms get stretched out, fingers get stretched in all different ways. And then like eventually let me go back to the way it started was there was an earthquake, and like the ground kind of split and came up on one side, and there was a bunch of these holes. Eventually it like splits somewhere else, and you see like the people coming out on the other side, and they're like making like sounds are coming out, and it's again disgusting and kind of like off putting. I gotta watch this stuff. Oh God. For a second, this looked like they were kissing. I don't think they're kissing. I think they're hanging. Oh, they didn't need to do that. I didn't even see that the first time. Oh God. It's okay. We just stripping off the bad skin. Since ancient times. Is this Gyo? I think that was Gyo. Or did they make I think they made an anime of Gyo. I think so, but I'm not sure. Body you're doing, and then with this look, because with this like happy music playing, I guarantee you there's other ones that were happening like earlier in the video that I just like didn't see at all. They're like oh, okay. I gotta watch it. But it was off. That's off-putting. That's the Eight Dragons Way of the House Husband. Okay, I don't know what that is. That was hyper off-putting. But like, I, I gotta watch it. Hold on. Stuff. Junji Ito. I haven't watched the Junji Ito collection. This is Uzumaki. The only reason why I know about it is because I would search up Naruto Uzumaki back in the day, and occasionally his stuff would pop up. I didn't even know it was the same guy who did. I didn't know Gyo was the same guy who did it until like later on. But yeah, I just used to look at that and I'd be like, why did you do that? I was like, wait, I'm stupid. AMV. I don't want to see that. Ooh, hold on. What's that though? That looks interesting. Stop defaulting to this 360. Go straight to 1080p or higher.
Any news?
I wish I could change the settings or something.
Okay, thanks anyway.
I'm liking the art style and the animation.
Hey, have you seen Sasha?
Nope.
No.
Hold on. I could swear that like this whole little formation thing right here.
Nope.
No.
Is that from Spirited Away? I feel like that particular thing right there is from something else.
Can't even see my hands in this.
I know. Hey, did Sasha come by? I still
I
haven't...
don't know. I've been here all day going over the routine. Shouldn't you be ready by now?
Yes, well, I've spent the last...
And you're gonna have to do your own makeup. I've barely covered Act 1 and my face is a disaster. I mean, have you seen my left eye?
Maybe try adding some red. You know, the one you like.
Breathe, kid. Breathe. Or better yet, hold your breath.
But I can't. I've never... And I'm so...
Hey, look at me. I barely even practiced for my first show and I turned out fine.
Yeah, you barely practiced ever.
I was drinking that. By the way, what about Sasha?
Not a sign, apparently. Sometimes I wonder, am I the only one here who cares about this show?
Chill out. He'll show eventually.
Eventually? We're on in 10 minutes. Honestly, I'm telling you, if he doesn't show up on time, I swear.
You think he's not coming? Oh my god, it's my fault. He probably doesn't want to pair up with me.
Wait, what?
I don't know whose fault it is, but I'm not going out there with a whole information like we're a bunch of amateurs. This is Solstice Festival, not Taco Tuesday.
No sign of him out there.
Oh my god.
Hey guys, the drummers are almost done. We're up in 5. Where is Sasha?
He,
Ready as ever. He's taking a leak.
Okay, good. Finish getting dressed.
Oh, she's gonna kill us.
Wait, that guy has to go on stage because he hasn't done anything.
Hey, maybe I didn't lie. Maybe he is taking the longest leak this side of the bay.
Or
That dude
maybe
is dead.
he joined a rival team. I saw him talk to the tambourine guy. You know, the one with the hair?
Maybe he was nervous and took a walk along the sand spit.
For 4 hours. I guess he got stuck in the tide.
Oh my god, he
Tide stuck.
drowned.
I can't believe Sasha's
See, that guy has the right idea. That dude is dead. Whoever
Bring us.
you're
I
looking
can't
for.
believe Sasha's dead.
Our careers are finished.
Yup.
Okay,
Sasha is dead. I like that dude. I agree with him.
Let's all
Sasha
calm
is
down.
dead.
We're gonna need help.
Zed is dead.
I know.
Sasha's dead.
We asked everyone at the festival. Okay, quick, we need a picture of him.
Okay, I got this.
That's your solution?
Are we sure this guy even exists?
Yeah,
We're doomed.
it's time.
Go, I have no pair.
We can still find him.
There's no way this can work. We cancel and go home in disgrace.
Cancel and go home.
We
with
replace him
disgrace.
with the first guy we see?
No, time's up. We go with what we have. Keep up!
Watch him be out on the stage already, and it's like, I've been waiting for you all. I've been carrying this show by myself. Right, he's already been on the stage. No, they just finished the drums. It'd be funny if he was doing the drums and like after it he does this as well. He's gonna come in right at the last second. Right, look at her face. She was like, "You asshole." Look at the one on the far side. Look at her. Look at her face. Hilarious. I love it. This dude's just like, "Hey, bro, you're here." It's like I thought you would be. She's like, "Yay." She's like, "Happy you're here." He's like, "Oh my God." She's like, I love the expressions there. I like this. Whoever made this, I want to see them make more stuff. Who made this? Peter Lloyd. Goblins. Whoever this is, I like your stuff, bro. Like your stuff. Yeah, we don't leave it there. Yeah, that's nice. I actually like this. This felt like some like that felt like not Spirited Away, but a Miyazaki film. I feel like they took some cues from those. And like I said, I think this in particular, this thingy where she let's see if I can find it.
Can you be
The one you like.
right now?
Should come back.
Back,
Oh, I know.
back further.
I know.
This right here.
Hey,
This little
have you
section
seen
right here.
Sasha?
I feel like this is
No.
from like
No,
this is from
no.
some type of film I've seen before. I've seen that exact same movement. It's kind of like Boondocks, Naruto, right? Right. There's a scene in the Boondocks. It's pretty much just like Naruto. The Freemans versus the Hatocracy. Right. I don't remember all of this, but there's like certain points that look like Naruto. There's a point where like they jump through the air. I think that happens a little bit earlier. I think that happened before this. But this is just Naruto. That's just that whole little sequence, that little combo she gave him, that was just Naruto. Right, that whole punch, everything, all of this. That was all Sasuke getting the mess beat out of him. Right. He just catching it. Knee in the face. That's terrible. Yeah, I like this. Whoever made this, I want to see more of this. I really want to see more of this stuff. I actually really, really like that. 13 more minutes. No, we're not gonna watch a 38-minute. No. Here's what we'll do. We'll go here, scroll down. I already saw that before. Are you mommy? Ooh, okay, I want to see this.
Finding
is
the
like
right
my favorite
balance
horror
between
game.
remaining faithful to the source material and changing things up to surprise fans tends to be quite tricky for most remakes. And as the remake
Give me that
to one of the
1440p.
best survival horror games ever made, the pressure on the upcoming Dead Space is even
The best.
higher to make sure that it gets the balance right. Motive Studio has said on numerous occasions that it's not going to deviate too much from the 2008 original.
This game was like just pure just dread the whole time through. Like, I was unironically scared to like walk forward at all throughout this entire game. The second one, not as much. The second one was a little bit more action oriented. And I think it actually helped the game be a little bit more playable because of that. Because when I went through and I played that one, I was actually able to play it and I think enjoy it a little bit more. Whereas number one, like I finished number one after number two because it just was like it was too much for me. I was just like, oh God.
Especially
It's
where the main
terrifying.
story beats are concerned. But even so, the upcoming survival horror title is changing, adding, and looking to improve a lot of things. Here,
Let
we're
us see
going to
his
talk about
face.
some of the biggest changes
They're not gonna
between
do it
the
to the end of
original
the
Dead
game.
Space and its remake.
If they're leaving it really close, then they're not.
Isaac Clarke.
You see her? Oh, you
Let's
can't
get
see
this
her.
one
Why
out of
does
the
he
way
look like
first.
that?
Not only because it's one of the more prominent changes, but also because we've known this for some time now.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna have
Protagonist Isaac
speaking
Clarke
lines now.
was a completely silent protagonist in the original
In the
Dead
first
Space.
game, yep.
But in the remake, he's going to be a fully voiced character, just as he was in Dead Space 2 and 3. Gunnar Wright, who voiced him in the two sequels, is returning to play the part in the remake, while
Good.
Isaac's face has also been updated to make it look more like Wright himself.
No,
One-shot camera.
looks weird. I
God of
don't
War
like it.
2018 has made the one-shot camera quite popular in video games, and doubtless we're going to see more and more games trying to do what it did. Dead Space seems to be the first in that line, with Motive Studio having confirmed that the whole game will be a single sequential shot, with no camera cuts whatsoever. Of course, this is a game that lends itself incredibly well to that sort of approach, so we're excited to see how the
Wait a minute. I'm trying to think about it. One shot camera. Didn't Dead Space? I think Dead Space was the first one to do that. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding what the one shot camera is. Because I'm like 90% sure that Dead Space was the first one to do that. Or one of the first.
remake implements the no-cuts camera.
Yeah, that was like one of the big things about this game. Like, was the no cuts. It didn't have like you didn't have like cut scenes where it's like, okay, we're gonna stop and give you this vision of it, and then it's over here, and then it's up here. Like, no, it was like you saw the same thing. Like, they acted out the stuff in front of you, and you literally watched it and walked around it and did whatever.
No load times. Going hand in hand with Dead Space's no-cuts camera is a complete lack of loading times, which,
Yep.
based on what Motive Studio has said, will mean that there are no masked loading times either, like, say, when you're walking around on the World Tree in the God of War games while traveling from realm to realm. Of course, being a current-gen only game,
No, there are gonna be masked load times. I don't. Anybody who tells me there's no load times for anything is no, they're lying to me. Either it's a vast open game like Red Dead Redemption, or it's like this, where it's gonna be stuff where if they're keeping the game how it was beforehand and they're not deviating a whole lot, it's gonna be like trims, and you're gonna get on the trim to go to different places, and there's gonna be areas where like you walk through a hallway or something, and that's the loading. It's gonna be something. It's not just gonna be it never loads, no loading screens ever. It's gonna be hidden loading screens. Hitting active.
you'd expect Dead Space
Hidden
to make
active.
better use of the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S's SSD than we've seen in most games until now. Ishimura. The USG Ishimura is inexorably linked with Dead Space in more ways than one, not least because of its incredible design and atmosphere, so it's going to be extremely important that the remake does justice to the Planet Cracker as well. Of course, as we've mentioned earlier, the entire ship will be entirely seamless in the remake, which should ideally make exploration and backtracking that much more engaging. While Motive Studio has said that it has also tweaked the ship's layout in some places, how radical those changes, well,
I don't think this game had too much backtracking now that I think about it. I think the backtracking that did happen was like story related, like you were supposed to go back there. I don't think it was like a Metroidvania where it's like there's some special thing you can get up here if you go all the way back to the other side of the map with like some power up or something, but you don't have to go back there. I think it was all stuff where it's like, okay, go back to this floor because, you know, now a bomb has blown a hole through the wall and you need to fix it or something.
remains to be seen. New rooms and locations. In addition to the ship being a single seamless map and having a tweaked layout, the Dead Space remake will also feature new rooms and locations. Players will now be able to find new locked rooms that weren't there in the original, each bringing new loot and other rewards. Some rooms will even be locked behind higher security clearances, encouraging players to return to older areas of the game to open up those locked rooms once they get the required clearance level.
I dislike stuff like that. When it's like you gotta get a clearance level or something like that. I like it to be stuff where it's like you have to get some type of effect. That's the reason why I like Metroidvanias, because you're not just like, okay, go find the green key card or whatever. It's like, no, go get the double jump ability, go get the high jump ability, go get the, you know, air dash ability. You need these different things that allow you to. They change the gameplay for you, but you can come back and use those abilities to like beat puzzles that you couldn't have even dealt with beforehand. As opposed to get the key card, it's like, well, yeah, I could have done that from the beginning, but I just couldn't because I didn't have the item yet. The item that tells the game to open up the door.
Story changes. As we mentioned earlier, Motive Studio isn't going to deviate too much from the original Dead Space's story with the upcoming remake, which is good, though it will definitely be adding it in an effort to make it richer and denser. For instance, the game is bringing in narrative and 3 as well as the comics in order to flesh out the lore and make it more consistent with the series' wider story. Side quests.
Wait, what they just say?
Consistent.
I think I just heard
2 and
I wasn't paying attention enough, and I think I just heard something that makes me want to throw up. No, don't go over there. Okay, let's see here. No, what are you doing? Don't do that. Who was I? I think I just heard something that's gonna make
3
me
as
like, wanna
well as the
throw up.
comics in
Like,
order
this
to
is
flesh out the lore and make it more consistent, adding it in an effort to make it richer and denser. For instance, the game is story changes. As we mentioned earlier, Motive Studio isn't going to deviate too much from the original Dead Space's story with the upcoming remake, which is good, though it will definitely be adding it in an effort to make it richer and denser. For instance, the game is bringing in narrative elements from Dead Space 2 and 3 as well as the comics in order to flesh out the lore and make it more consistent with.
That's the main thing I don't want them to do is bring anything from number 3. Don't do that. Just destroy it. Like we just need to retcon that game. That's like with Resident Evil. They made the remake of the first 3, right? When they make 4, like 4 is the last remake I want to see. When they make 5, it's like just revamp the whole game. Just redo it. Redo the story and everything. Just 5-2. Resident Evil 5-2. 6. 6 doesn't exist. Right? We're just gonna make 6 for the first time because 6 didn't get made. We're just gonna act like that never
the
happened.
series' wider story.
I hated 3. 3 was so garbage.
Side quests. While Dead Space's remake will largely stick to the script where the main story is concerned, it will be adding in optional and secondary stuff to add to the narrative experience. This will come in the form of entirely new side quests that will come with brand new story content, Side characters like Nicole will get fleshed out much more, while others who only showed up in the original game and audio logs will also get actual screen time this time around. Changed scene. The Dead Space
changed
remake is
the
also
Nicole
making
scene?
some interesting changes to the story on a much smaller scale as well, in that it will be taking several scenes and changing the way that they played out in an effort to make them more impactful. From what we've seen of the game so far, a perfect example seems to be the scene where the Ishimura captain's corpse is transformed into a necromorph. Rather than witnessing it from behind a glass screen, in the remake, Isaac will be in the room himself, and as he's attempting to pull off the captain's
Oh,
rig,
boy.
an infector will burst in and infect the body, causing the transformation right on top of Isaac, which in turn will transition directly into gameplay.
Huh. That's
Weapon
actually a good idea.
changes.
Let's see
Moving
what
on
they
to
do
the
with
gameplay
weapons.
side of things, Dead Space is changing some things up in this area as well. For instance,
Oh,
you can
man, I
expect to
remember
see
that.
several weapons being
The big brute one running at you. I remember that. That was
altered
that
in
was
new
a lot.
ways. For starters, weapons in the remake will have special upgrades and upgrade nodes similar to what you might remember from Dead Space 2. Meanwhile, weapons will also have new alternate fire modes, with the pulse rifle, for instance, featuring a proximity mine launcher as the alternate fire. Some weapons will also see much more significant changes, like the Force Gun, which can now create a gravity well that pulls enemies into its center, rather than simply being used to push foes away. UI and map. The original Dead Space has one of the best UIs we've ever seen in a game, but the remake is looking to improve things even further. Motive
How?
Studios has confirmed that not only will the game have an improved locator system, which for those who don't know is a holographic line that can be projected on the ground to guide you to the next main objective, it will
Okay.
also feature an improved map. Speaking to Inverse, Motive Studios' Joel McMillan confirmed that the remake's map will be 2D instead of the 3D's original map,
Thank
and
you.
will be much more readable and much easier to use and navigate.
Yeah, okay, so that is an improvement. The first one had
Zero
had a terrible, terrible map. It was 3D and it had the like kind of if you've seen Breath of the Wild, it kind of had that effect to it and it made it hard to read.
Gravity. Zero gravity sections have been a thing in Dead Space since the very beginning, but it wasn't until the sequels that those sections actually became somewhat decent to control. Sure enough, the remake
Yep.
is making improvements in that area, and taking plenty of cues from Dead Space 2 and 3 for those purposes. Players will now have full 360-degree control in the zero gravity sections, which, according to Motive Studio, has also led to new ways to navigate new paths and new environments with new challenges. Peeling system.
Peeling system?
Dead Space is synonymous with gore and horrifying violence, thanks in large part to its dismemberment system, and
are they trying to
unsurprisingly,
improve
all
that?
of that will be cranked up to 11 in the remake, specifically where the dismemberment mechanics are concerned. Motive Studio has introduced what it's dubbed the peeling system, which is exactly what it sounds like. As you fight the necromorphs, their tendons, flesh, bones, and muscle will tear and rip and disintegrate in much more detailed and visceral ways to illustrate how much damage you're actually doing. And this won't just be a visual thing either. Motive Studios says the peeling system will also make for increased opportunities for creativity in how they utilize the variety of unique weapons and abilities. Circuit breakers. The remake is also making other relatively smaller changes on the gameplay front, such as the new circuit breakers. Players will come across circuit breakers at various points in the Dead Space remake, allowing you to reroute the ship's power as something of a recurring mechanic. To do so, however, you'll obviously have to route power away from the other things, so you might, for instance, have to decide whether you want to play the next section without that area's lights on, or without oxygen, which in turn will impact how you play through
Hey.
that section.
That's awesome. That's actually good. I feel like there's gonna be sections where I'm gonna hate that and I'm gonna have a fit, but that's nice.
Intensity Director.
Intensity director.
One of
is-
the biggest and most exciting new features that the Dead Space remake is introducing is the Intensity Director. Though it might sound like Left 4 Dead's AI director on paper, Motive Studios promises it's much more and quite different.
Oh,
The
okay.
Intensity Director will read gameplay situations, and based on how you're faring and what sort of situation you found yourself in, it will dynamically trigger events or even combinations of events on the fly in order to ensure you're always on the edge of your seat. The developers say there are as many as over 1,200 of these events, and span everything from flickering lights and dense fog to audio cues, enemy spawns, and more. Hey, did
Okay.
you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of
I can't wait for this to come out. I'm getting that day one and I'm playing it. I'm definitely playing that. Oh my god. I had such a good time with Dead Space. Dead Space 2 was also amazing. And then they decided to shit themselves with 3. I don't know what happened with that. 3 was the worst thing. Like I said, it's right up there with Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. It's so bad. Why? That's a terrible picture, and I want it. Blasphemous, I've been playing that recently. This is garbage. I hate that. Mm-mm. Well, all right. Cool. I'm gonna get off here for tonight. Like I said, I'm just kind of not really feeling too good today. But I will be back tomorrow. I'm gonna. I still have to figure out my schedule. I think on the weekends I'm gonna be doing it late night, like around now. You know, somewhere between like 12 and like 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. But during the week, it's gonna be earlier in the day. It might be like around like somewhere between like 12 and like 4, 12 to 5 or something like that. Somewhere in that area, if I can free up the time. I think that'll work a little bit better for me during the week. But weekends it'll definitely be late night. But yeah, I hope you all had a great time. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscription button, hit that bell, leave a like, leave me a comment because you know you definitely want to help me with the algorithm. And yeah, if you're on Twitch, leave me a follow. And I hope you all had a great day and great afternoon. Well, not afternoon, a great night. I hope y'all had a great night. Even though this is really short. And I will see you all tomorrow look for me at 1. I'll see you all tomorrow at around 1 o'clock. Peace.
content you'd like to see in the future.